What up, doe, beautiful people? Your boy JB Ricks, aka The Ricks Review, here for another edition of the Ricks Review podcast. And I got my partner in crime with me to help me with this week's episode. It's the super producer, Mr. Clark Gerber, joining me today for today's podcast. Clark, thank you so much, man, for taking out this time. Listen, man, I was just talking to one of my friends earlier today. And just speaking on this being like one of the funnest parts of the sports calendar year, right? October, you got baseball with the World Series coming up. You got basketball and hockey revving up. And, of course, you got full football in full swing, man. Got to be an exciting time for sports heads like us, right?
Oh, yeah. October, number one seed. When we're ranking all the months, October, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, that's as good as it gets. And, I know you remember my man Charlie Mickens or whatever. We had a very spirited debate about this or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was over here trying to pump up March or whatever, but he just doesn't get it, man. You got all four sports going on during this time of the year. So that's why October is number one on the sports calendar. And speaking of the month of October, they like to have the Fall Classic, something that I thought my Tigers would be playing in this year with the season that we had during the regular season up until September when we lost that 15-game lead in the division standings, but we were able to get past the wild card and to get into the ALC and get into the ALDS, the division series against the Seattle Mariners. And Clark, listen, man, I've been steaming about this for a long time. The game was almost a week old or whatever. It was last Friday or whatnot, and the Tigers went into a 15-inning extra with Seattle to decide that Game 5 and advance to the ALCS. Tigers were outlasted by the Mariners, and they ended up winning in the 15th inning and advancing to the ALCS. But I got some stuff to get off my chest. And I need your help, Mr. Super Producer, okay? This is something new I want to try with me and you. And for any of you that don't know, me and this guy have a great history together. We worked together down in North Carolina, put together awesome segments and awesome shows together, and we're going to give you guys that same love, that same energy here on the Ricks Review. But this time, I need you to play the role of the sports psychiatrist because I'm hurting right now, man. I'm hurting. I got some stuff to really get off my chest. So I want you to hear me out first. Hear why I'm upset or whatever. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm right. Tell me how you feel and what I need to do to cope with this pain that myself and all these Tiger fans are dealing with, okay?
I've been there. Been in the coping stage before.
Exactly. So you know the experience, right? Okay, so here's the scenario, Clark. Tigers, Mariners, Game 5, winner take all of it on the line in one game. Tigers throw up the best pitcher on the planet right now, Tarek Skubal, coming in and being put on the mound to win this game for us, okay? Surefire ace, surefire best pitcher in the major leagues right now. You put this guy on the mound or whatever, I'm telling you right now, all of us Tigers fans, we knew we were going to win that Game 5. So let's talk about how Skubal did in that Game 5. 6 innings pitched. He only gave up 2 hits, 13 strikeouts, and there was a time I believe they had 15 straight outs. So he was dealing. He was on fire through 6 innings. Only gave up 1 earned run, 0 walks. So you're thinking, we got the lead. We had a 2-run home run. I believe it was by Carpenter that gave us a 2-1 lead. Okay? You give Skubal a lead like that through 6 innings of play. What are we talking about right now? Okay? This is a winner-take-all, Game 5, deciding everything to go to the ALCS. Manager A.J. Hinch decided, for whatever reason, to pull Skubal after that 6th inning, and he was still throwing 100 mile per hour pitches, Clark. He was dealing, he was throwing heat, high cheese, fast cheese, low cheese, all over the place cheese, striking these guys out cold turkey on all these jokers, right? Killing it. We get a 2-1 lead. Once we got that 2-1 lead, I knew it was a wrap. I knew it was over. We were going to win it. But A.J. Hinch decided to bring him out and go to his bullpen. We immediately gave up that lead. And then we ended up going into a 15-inning extra thriller. It was a great game, don't get me wrong, and I stayed up and only got 2 hours of sleep for work the next day or whatever. So I stayed up and sacrificed for this too. So that's another reason why I am going through it right now. I will say this though, Clark. The Tigers, They were horrid when it came to run support for Scooble during that series.
Yeah.
They did not give him much run support or whatever, so I will throw that little factor in there. But at the same time, Mr. AJ Hinch, this is your ace. This is the guy that we rely on. This is the guy that we depend on or whatever to win that one game to get us to the next round, to get us to the championship series of the American League. You gotta roll with this dude if he is firing on all cylinders the way that he was. And for him to pull him after the 6th inning and we end up losing that lead and we end up losing that game, love AJ Hinch, but I gotta put this one all on him. I am upset. I am steaming. We should be in the ALCS right now going heads up with the Toronto Blue Jays, but instead we're sitting back and hoping and praying that we can come back and try to make another run next year. It was a wonderful outing by Scooble, and it was completely wasted, not only for just a game or for an outing, but for the entire season because the season came to an end. So I think AJ Hinch was 100% wrong for pulling him after 6 innings. Please tell me if I'm wrong or I'm right or am I just out of control for feeling all these type of emotions on this. Talk to me, sports psychiatrist.
All right. So, like, as a licensed professional, which I am not, I'm inclined to ask you. It seems like your stage of grief. We're still in kind of the anger stage of grief, right? Absolutely. Where we got to, if I can in some way talk you off the ledge, and I don't know if this is going to help or hurt, but do you honestly believe in your heart that the way that the Tigers had been playing down the stretch of the season, that they were a team that was going to win the World Series anyway?
Oh, come on, man. That's a trick question right there, man. You want me to say no? I'm not going to say no. Like, yeah, man. Once you get on a roll, once you get on a heater, the way that they did in the wild card series, and then the way that they did leading up to that Game 5, anything can happen. Absolutely. All it matters is you playing in that series and having a chance to compete for that championship, and AJ Hinch took that away from us. So, yes, I do believe we had a chance to go to the World Series. Absolutely.
Sure. And I will say baseball is probably – momentum's such a real thing that you're right. Once you do advance, you'd already advanced in the wild card round. Who knows what's going to happen against Toronto? Very beatable team as we're seeing right now in the ALCS. Exactly. Look, man, I'd be pretty angry too. I would. I'd be pretty angry too because, as you said, Scooble is the top. He's the top pitcher in the American League, and I know that we're about preserving the arms and making sure that we're playing for the long term. But you play for the long term for a chance like you guys had, for a chance like putting your ace out there in a winner-take-all situation. If Scooble had shown some signs that he was getting a little bit rickety, shown some signs that his stuff was declining, I could understand the move to the bullpen. But as you mentioned, he was dealing. And there were no signs of slowing down. None. So I think if I was a Tigers fan, I'd be in your position. Okay. Now, moving forward, we can't go back and change the past. How are you dealing with watching the Mariners in the ALCS? Is it making you more angry that they've jumped out to the lead that they have jumped out to in the ALCS?
Through the first 2 games, yes. Through the first 2 games, I was really steaming hot because I'm sitting here saying to myself, that could have been our Tigers with that momentum. Mm-hmm. Seattle took that momentum that they gained from that Game 5, from that 15 extra inning thriller. They took that momentum into Toronto and stole both of those first 2 games. Now, credit to Toronto. They were able to avoid the sweep by winning Game 3. We'll see how they do the remainder of the series. But yes, that could have been the Tigers coming in, stealing that momentum, coming back to Comerica Park with a 2-game lead in the ALCS. So yes, through those first 2 games, I was highly upset. But after Toronto won Game 3, that calmed me down because now I'm like, okay, all right, I can just kind of overcome the pain and the hurt from the Tigers season coming to an end, and I can just get back into just doing what I've always done. The love of sports, man. I just love watching games, especially in October, whether it's baseball, basketball, hockey, football. I still love it regardless of my team not making it. So, yes, I was upset through those first 2 games. But I also want to bring up another point that you brought to my attention that I forgot to mention while I was going through my little therapeutic session. If AJ Hinch decided to take Scooble out because he was coming up on 100 pitches and maybe he wanted to preserve him or whatever, you know what I mean, for the ALCS. I don't know what the specific reason is. I didn't take the time to listen to the entire post-game press conference to figure out what his reasoning was. But the bottom line is, I don't care how many pitches he was coming up on. What are we preserving him for? We got to win this game to get to the next series to even have a chance to play for a world championship. So what are you preserving him for if now we're in a position where there's nothing to preserve him for? So I was totally against that logic or whatever about, hey, he's coming up on 100 pitches. We got to preserve his arm. No! We got to win this game. And we didn't win this game because we took Skubal out after the 6th inning. So I did want to bring that up because you brought that up while you were giving me my critique.
Can't count those chickens before they hatch. I guess moving forward, right? How do we get from the anger stage, right? The bargaining stage. How do we get to that acceptance stage to where you're refreshed, you're ready to turn your attention maybe towards? Is it the Lions? Are the Lions are helping you towards the acceptance stage of your sports fandom? Because I sorry to put throw a shot in there, but I know Michigan State isn't doing it. So is Detroit?
You joker.
Are the Lions carrying the torch for you?
You always talking stuff, man. You always throw your little slick little joints in there, man. You are not slick. I have begun to accept it. I think I began to accept it after game 3. The first 2 games I was really upset because it was like, yo, that could have been us with that 2-game lead. And Toronto won the other night or whatever. I'm like, okay, this series might be fun. So now I'm accepting it. Our season is over. We just got to come back and go after it again next year. So I don't need the distraction of the Lions or my poor Sparties. I don't know what's going on with them boys or whatever. I don't need the distraction of them or whatnot. I love football. I love basketball. I love hockey. I love them all. I love how basketball's starting up next week. That's going to get things rolling. The Red Wings are just coming off a BTA, a belt to you-know-what, to the 2-time defending champs, you know what I mean, the other night or whatever. So that was fun. Yeah. I was watching that the other night or whatever. So I've accepted it. But I needed this. I needed this therapeutic session to officially get it off of my chest. Because, you know, mental health matters, man. Mental health matters.
Yeah,
it matters. And, like, I've been struggling this past week with the fact that the Tigers, A.J. Hinch, blew it. He blew it for us or whatever. And hopefully he can redeem himself next year or whatever and get us to that next stage and not make that same mistake. But I have accepted it. I have.
Look, you guys still have Skubal. You're going to be in the mix in the AL Central. Nobody in the AL Central, including my Twins, are gonna run away and hide next year. Yeah. My Twins will probably just be as mediocre as ever. So, you know, there is always next year. The Tigers, not knowing what they'll do this offseason, but as long as you got Skubal on your roster, man, you're never going to be too far out of the playoff race.
100%, man. We're definitely going to be in the race next year, but that's a long ways away. So I am going to focus my attention on the Lions now. And speaking of the Lions, let's go ahead and shift gears to our next topic where we need to address the state of the NFC North. Now, as you all know, I'm a Lions guy. I'm going to ride or die for the Lions this year. We're trying to get to that first ever Super Bowl, so I'm keeping tabs on them and every move that they're making throughout the weeks and throughout the season leading up to the playoffs. And obviously, you're a Minnesota Vikings guy, and they're going to be a contender too in the NFC. So let's go ahead and address our state of the NFC North. I'll go ahead and go first with my Lions. Basically, we came into this past week against the Chiefs. It's a matchup on Sunday night. Everybody was looking forward to that. Obviously, 2 of the best teams, you know, in the NFL. A lot of people had the Lions ranked as the number 1 power ranked team going into that week. And, like, they were rolling. They had won 4 in a row or whatever. They were the highest scoring offense in the NFL or whatnot. And they were taking all of that momentum into Kansas City, into Arrowhead Stadium, a place that they won 2 years ago on the opening night of the NFL season. I don't know if you remember that. Okay, you do remember that or whatever. So we've had success there. So going into that game, man, I just knew the Lions was going, you know, do something, pull out some type of 3-point victory or whatever. But your boy Patrick Mahomes, man, I don't know if you've been paying attention to him. And obviously we pay attention to everybody. He's balling right now. That boy is. Oh, yeah. He is back to his A+ form right now, and he balled out on my Lions that night or whatever. And listen, you know what? I got to call out a lot of my fellow Lion fans on this, man, who are going out here saying, "Oh, we got cheated. The refs cheated us." Da, 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 da. Like, I watched that game from beginning to end, man. No, Kansas City won that game straight up. period, point blank. We had a lot of misplays, and Amon-Ra St. Brown totally agrees with me. He gave a great quote to the media, I believe, yesterday or the day before, just talking about, like, no, that's a sad excuse for losers. We're not going to sit here and blame the refs and say they did this, that, and third. No, Lions lost that game straight up. Kansas City was the better team. Lions are not the number one power-ranked team, so we have a lot of work to do, and unfortunately, we got to start with that work against the team that probably is the best in the NFC right now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we got another primetime showdown coming up against Tampa Bay on Monday. Oh, that's going to be a huge game.
Great.
Yeah, and, we're in a battle right now, for first place in the NFC North. So that's how my Lions are looking right now. I feel good. That game is at home, but it is against Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, who are just balling out right now. They got mad injuries in the receiver position right now, I believe. Mike Evans is out. The rookie, Egbuka.
Egbuka, he's out.
He's out right now, but Baker is still out here slinging. So more on that in 1 second. But go ahead and give me your report on your Minnesota Vikings. How they looking as they get ready to get swept by my boys this year at some point, whenever that game is on the schedule? How are they looking?
I mean, still technically a winning record,
okay,
but not super confidence building. J.J. McCarthy had that one good quarter against the Bears. Otherwise, he's looked very much like a rookie, very much maybe not ready for prime time. We're kind of in a weird spot because we were the first team to go back-to-back overseas. So in a weird way, I feel like, yes, they've played, but are those games really indicative of where the teams are? Because those overseas games are so weird.
Yeah.
I'm going to find out a lot, I think, this Sunday. They take on the Eagles. The vibes are terrible with Philadelphia right now. If we're able to hang in that game and not get destroyed by Philadelphia, as we usually do, if we're able to find some sort of semblance of a run defense and not let Saquon Barkley go for 100+, the problem is it still looks like it's going to be Carson Wentz. And I don't know how well I can evaluate the team with Carson Wentz under center, because at the end of the day, this team will go as far as J.J. McCarthy takes them.
Oh,
and
really?
In order to start to believe that this team this year and going forward has any sort of chance at reaching new heights, going to a Super Bowl, getting back to an NFC Championship game, I need to see significant strides from McCarthy. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a little shook just based on what I've seen, because I find that, yes, we want to give quarterbacks time to develop. Baker Mayfield is excellent example of that, not to bring him up again, but like, it has taken him time to develop. It's taken Sam Darnold years and years to develop. We've seen how he's thriving now in Seattle. Yep. Kind of wish that we had him on the Vikings still, based on the way that the season has started. But I have found that normally with the really, really elite quarterbacks, you can kind of see it right away, right? Maybe they're not elite right away, but you see flashes right away. And I don't know that I've seen enough from J.J. McCarthy, Michigan alum. I don't think I've seen enough so far to where my confidence in him is much above like a 3 or a 4 right now, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense, man. It makes total sense. And it actually brings up the point of I'm surprised. I'm surprised that you still kind of believe in JJ on this level or whatnot, even though
he's
really
young.
Only had,
he's young.
He only had that one good quarter against the Bears. It was against the Bears, right? In the fourth quarter. Outside of that, he really hasn't done much except for deal with the injury bug or whatever. So, what's his time? I know you said Carson Wentz is planning on playing this weekend against Philadelphia, and that's he used to play for Philadelphia, so that's kind of
once upon a time, right, almost won MVP for that.
That's right, Pennsylvania. Remember we were talking stuff about him back during our fantasy football days or whatever in North Carolina, Pennsylvania or whatever, going up against Philadelphia. So that should be a fun game. But is it possible for JJ to come back after that? Like, are you wanting? Let me ask you this. No. Let me ask you this question. Do you want him to come back after that, or do you want to see Carson Wentz go a few more weeks?
I got feelings, JB. I know that you had the sports therapy session. I have feelings.
I got you.
It's not a good thing at this stage of his career when the offense looks better with Carson Wentz under center. Yeah. I think we have a better chance to beat the Eagles with Carson Wentz starting. That's not good news for the state of the team with J.J. McCarthy as your starter. I'm also very concerned that J.J. McCarthy, slight of build, he was lost the entire season to injury last year. We get, 2-3 games into this season, and already we're dealing with an injury that's becoming more long term by the week. Is he just going to be a player that just can't stay healthy? Is he ever going to be a player that stays healthy long enough to develop the way that we need him to develop? I'm starting to get worried, JB. I am. And Minnesota has constantly lived in this area where we get reclamation projects at quarterback, right? So ever since I can remember, Jeff George, Brad Johnson, Randall Cunningham, the couple failed experience, like Brett Favre worked for a year, didn't work after that. Donovan McNabb was a disaster. We've always lived in this area where we're picking up veteran quarterbacks. Carson Wentz, our latest example, right? Yep. We need, if we're ever going to win a Super Bowl in our franchise's history, we need to have some sort of homegrown star at quarterback. Yeah. I'm hoping JJ McCarthy can be that. So far, I really haven't seen, outside of one quarter, which looks more and more like a fluke as we go on through the year. Outside of that one quarter, I don't know. I know I'm being impatient. I know that he's only played in a couple games, but I got to start to be able to see it, man.
No, and it's hard to see it when you're injured. You know what I mean? For most of the time, anyways, or whatever. I'm with you. I understand where you're coming from. Let me go ahead and flip the script on you and be your psychiatrist, your sports psychologist a little bit here. Give him some time, man. At least get it to the end of the year. Let's see what happens when he comes back from this injury. Let's see if he can come back in and take command of this offense away from Carson Wentz once he is 100% healthy. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a believer in JJ. I think he's going to become a franchise quarterback. But hey, Minnesota spent a first-round pick on this guy. This is the guy that you deem to be the future of your organization. He's off to a rough start, but it's only year 2. Yes, you're showing a little bit of impatience here, but I get it. I understand it. You want winners, okay?
That's right. I want people that want to win.
You want people that want to win, and JJ's got to be on the field if he really wants to win or whatever. Yeah. So let's see how he does, once he comes back. And we'll see. Hey, this race is going to go down to the end, man. It's going to be between us.
Nobody's running away.
And the Bears are decent. The Bears are decent. I believe they're 500 right now, right? Ben Johnson.
They are now they've won 3 in a row, man. They're 3-2.
So like that NFC North, it's gonna be competitive just like it was last year, and it's gonna go down to the final couple weeks of the season. So we got plenty of time to figure this out. But when it comes to my Lions, we are licking our wounds right now after taking a beat down from the Chiefs. Well-deserved win for Kansas City, but we got to come right back and answer against the team that's probably playing the best in the NFC on Monday. And as far as your boys go, y'all going up against the defending champs with your backup quarterback. So it's going to be a tough weekend for both of us, man. But, hey, we'll see what happens, man. I believe in the NFC North, and I believe that we can come through and get these big dubs and show the NFC South and show the NFC East that we're going to be here to compete come January.
For sure.
I love it. All right, cool. That is your NFC North wrap up right there. Now we're going to continue with the football grind. We're going to have a little fun. We're going to talk some fantasy football now. Me and Clark used to do a fantasy segment back in the day or whatever. It was so fun, man. We used to just go out here and put our teams together and just, compete against each other or whatnot. And now we're really competing because I'm playing in the league that he owns right now with fantasy football. But there's a catch. There's a trip to this fantasy football league. It's something that I've never been a part of before. And when he first brought the rules and the regulations to this league to me, I was very much intrigued. And I said, sign me up, man. Let's give it a shot and let's have some fun. So I'm going to let the super producer kind of like take the reins because this is his league. He can break down the rules. And I'm really interested to see how many people out there or whatever are doing leagues that are similar to this. I'm going to imagine that you didn't invent this, but I don't know. Did you invent this, Clark?
No, I definitely didn't invent this. This is a popular play style. We use the ESPN app, but it's everywhere, right? Like Yahoo, Sleeper, wherever you want to play fantasy football. Okay. It's a salary cap league. Yeah. Some people call it an auction league, and I like it better because it makes you feel more like the GM. And also, I like to say it's like before with the snake draft. That's like checkers. This is like chess. So I'm really happy that I put you onto this because I know that we both get pretty competitive with the fantasy football thing.
No question.
So it's just what it sounds like, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of having it set up where like so-and-so gets the first pick, then second pick, it's not set. You got to go into your draft with values for each player kind of in mind. And as those players are nominated up for auction or for, for sale, whatever you want to call it, you get to bid on those players, and you have a certain amount of salary cap. We had, I believe, 200 of these fake dollars, right, that you can bid on these players. And what I really like about it is, if, let's say this year, I really, for whatever reason, I just really wanted Bijan Robinson, right? And like my fantasy heart was not going to be complete without Bijan Robinson on my team. I can make sure that it happens. I can outbid everybody. I am in control, right? If I want Bijan, I can have Bijan. It doesn't matter where I pick or whatever. But I got to be careful, because if I spend too much, then I'm going to really be lacking, right? If I spend so much on this RB1, I'm going to really be lacking in my QB spots, my wide receiver spots, my flex spots, right? So it really is a lot more strategy. I like that it rewards the people that prepare the best. I've won this league 3 years in a row, no big deal. So I like the strategy piece of it. And then waivers, the same thing, right? We also have a waiver budget that we use throughout the year. I've kind of blown my waiver budget on a few players. We'll see if that works out.
I hope it doesn't.
I got them for now, but we'll see if, later down the line it might come back to bite me.
Yeah. And you know what? Now that you broke that down, let me bring up some of the points that I've noticed or whatever since being in this league for the first 4 or 5 weeks or whatever. You talked about the budget for the waiver wire. Actually, let me start here. Let's go back to the draft, the actual draft.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, because I can't remember off the top of my head, the player that I spent the most money on, $60. I spent $60 on Jahmyr Gibbs. Okay? Which player did you spend the most on, and how much was it for?
Oh gosh, I think it was. I think I spent the most on Malik Neighbors, who was out for the year.
Oh man, how much did you spend?
It was in probably the 50, 55 range, something like that.
Yeah,
but I did get Puka Nacua. That was a great pickup. He's hurt now. I got Ibuka later in the draft. He's hurt now. Derrick Henry's on bye this week, right? Your boy's hurting. I'm playing my dad this week, and it's not looking great.
That's right, and I'm just coming off of a win against your dad.
That's
Hello,
right.
Papa Gerber. Good to see you, sir.
Friends, JB is first place in our league. He's first place in the league. Now, I have the highest total points, right? But JB is first when it comes to record in this league. So he's taken to it like a fish to water. So
yes. Thank you so much for bringing that up, Clark. I am in first place in this league. I wasn't going to gloat. I wasn't going to bring it up, but the commissioner / super producer did decide to let y'all know. I am in first place. You do have the most points. There's no question about that. And some of those wins that I've got, like, I really had to put Band-Aids on. I was dealing with the injuries just like you. I've had 3 players go to IR. I've had 3 players go to IR. So it is definitely a league where you got to maneuver, you got to strategize, and you have to budget. That makes it fun to me. And I know you said it's something that is normal, that's out there or whatever, but this is the first I heard of it. And I've been in a lot of fantasy football leagues. Never has anybody introduced me to this part of the league where you actually got to budget your draft, you got to budget your waiver wire. It makes it definitely more challenging. When it comes to just playing fantasy football, and you really got to be on your P's and Q's. So that's why I love it. Next question. Here's what what has gotten under my skin the past couple weeks on the waiver wire. Freaking super producer Clark Gerber. Rico Dowdle, down in Carolina. Woo-wee. I wanted him, but I wasn't willing to spend that much, man. I didn't want to spend that much because here's my thing. I didn't know if Chuba's coming back or not. You know what I mean? Because Chuba's got to see Rico going ham, going crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. While he's out injured or whatever, and Chuba's got to be looking at this like, yo, I'm about to lose my job. So
he is about to lose his job.
He's about to lose his job, right? So I'm like, okay, Chuba's got to come in with a chip on his shoulder when he comes back from injury and try to get his job back. So that's why I didn't want to spend that much on Rico Dowdle. I didn't. But you did, and talk about the performances that he's had in back-to-back weeks.
Well, I mean, he won me my matchup last week. There was no way I was going to win without him. Yeah. He was the RB1 in fantasy, and the way he's performed. You heard this stat that he has the most scrimmage yards through 2 games in Panthers history, more than Christian McCaffrey. Yep. So, no matter what, Chuba Hubbard come back. I mean, thank you for coming back, Chuba, but you are no longer the clear-cut RB1. Rico Dowdle has proven that he's going to get some workload. I was really hurting in the running back category, so I had to spend a little bit big on him. I'm glad I did.
Yeah, you did. You did. You outbid me. You outbid me for Rico. I only was willing to bid $4. I think you did either 14 or 10 or something like that. You definitely did something in double digits to get him. So you wanted him and you got him. And I actually like that. I like that about the league, even when it comes to the waiver wires. If you really want a particular player, go get him. You don't got to wait in line for the last person, the last place team or whatever to get the first dibs. No, if you really want that player, you got to go get him. But you better make sure you have that moolah. So for me, that's what makes it ultra competitive. That's what makes it even more fun. And I want to thank you for introducing me to this league. I had the same scenario play out with the wide receiver this week. I can't remember. Who did you pick up this week? There was a wide receiver you picked up this week. Was it?
I think it might have been Kimani Vidal for the Chargers.
It was the running back. I'm sorry. You're right. It was not a receiver because I'm looking for a backup running back or whatever, and I saw him, and I know they've got a lot of injuries going. You outbid me for him, too. So it's like, God, where you getting all this money at, Mr. Commissioner?
I'm not going to be able to outbid you for long, man. I'm probably sitting at the lowest budgets in the league.
I checked the stats. You down there.
Yeah.
You down there. So, like you said, it could come and bite you, you know what I mean, in the butt, like towards the end, of the regular season or whatever, or it could pay off for you in large dividends by being able to get a running back like Rico who could carry you through the rest of the season. So that's what we love about this fantasy football, man. We got to see how it all plays out.
Now, JB, if you really want me to blow your mind, first of all, if you're a serious fantasy player and you're still playing Snake, I really recommend changing over to the salary cap. I will never go back to Snake, personally, number one. Now, if you want me to really blow your mind, JB, have you heard of guillotine leagues?
No, sir. School me.
Okay, so a guillotine league works a little bit differently. I have personally never played in one, but I want to experiment maybe with it next year. Okay. Basically, let's say I have a 10-team league, right? Okay. I don't play a matchup against somebody else traditionally. We line up and we see who in the league, you get your normal point total. The lowest team for point total in the league for that week is eliminated from the league. Their team is chopped. They are done. No more fantasy football for that season. And the players on that team, after week 1. And then the players on that team get put up for auction for the rest of the league to bid on. And you have a certain amount of budget for the rest of I've never tried it. I think it sounds amazing. So you don't really have traditional playoffs at the end of the year. It's really last team standing. So you can have the best roster in the league. But if you get that 1 week where it's by Mageddon and you have some people really underperform, you could be out of the league in week 6, even with the best roster. I don't know, man. I think that's really intriguing. That's the next venture for me. I don't know if you're ready for it. I don't know if it's going to be for everybody out there. But if to really blow your mind and just put you on game here, the Guillotine League, that's the next frontier for me.
Okay, I'd be willing to try it with you. I don't know if I would be fully invested in it, the way that I'm invested in your league right now. I'm fully in, the way your league is right now. I'm on that. I'm checking everything. I'm looking at my roster. I'm just looking and staring at my roster I'm evaluating each player every single day. Evaluating.
Got those trade requests going out?
Oh, my God. Nobody has made more trade requests than me. We can look up the numbers on that. I have put so many. Let me tell you who I put on the trade block this week, Clark. Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And Zay.
Yeah, because you know why? Drake May's been balling. He was my backup quarterback, but Drake is slinging it. He is balling it right now. And you know what I mean? Listen, I'm out here. You can tell the whole league I said this. I need a number 1 wide receiver. Who hooking me up? I got Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers. Come talk to me or whatever if you want to get rid of one of your receivers or whatnot. Make me a nice little deal, but I got some great trade bait. So I'm putting that out there for our league right there.
There you go.
I'll cut that out or whatever, and we'll send a text and email and let them know. I'm here, baby. Let me know. Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers on the trade block. But I love it. I love fantasy football. It's fun. It's like our own little imaginary way of being general managers and competing, man. You know, me and you are very competitive. So it's just fun, man. I really enjoy this league, and I want my permanent position in this league, win or lose. So just remember that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Forward. I want to be in this league. This is going to be my main league.
That's the hardest part of setting up a league, man, is finding the people who care. You definitely care.
Yeah, you got me. Well, I care because you told me what really made me care was you talking about, I've won this league league 3 years in a row, whatever. I could use some serious competition. Say less.
That's right.
Say less.
That's
say
right.
less. Say
You,
less,
you
man.
you nipped me in the head-to-head too. I think you beat me by,
I got
gosh,
you
it was
by a
single
few.
digits.
It
It
was.
was
It was
single
a close
digits.
game. All of my
We'll
games
we'll see
have
you.
been
We'll see you
close.
in the playoffs. I think we'll both be there at the
I'm
end this year.
positive we will. I know we'll have our rematch and we'll be in the playoffs playing for it all, man. So it's fantasy football, man. It's a beautiful time of the year or whatever. The month of October, my favorite month of the year when it comes to sports. Fantasy football, hockey, basketball revving up, World Series getting ready to go. Even though my Tigers aren't in it, I'm still going to watch and just love every day of this month because it's my favorite month of the year. So I just love how we're grooving. And when it comes to this fantasy football, man, we're definitely going to come back and have this conversation again and see where we're at once we get to the playoffs or whatnot. So before we get out of here, though, Clark, okay, we have to dedicate this last little segment to one of the most amazing individuals that you and I have both come across in this industry. And shout out to my dog, Mo Diggity or whatever, over here telling us we need to keep this to 90 seconds. Come on, player. We're talking about Mark Barger right here. If you think we're only going to take 90 seconds to talk about the mad scientist, one of the greatest video photographers to ever put a camera on his shoulder in this business, 90 seconds, you cut it up how you want to, player. But we going full throttle on this right now. Mark Barger is retiring from the business, the industry of video journalism. And I'm telling you guys right now, I've done so much work with this individual. I've covered multiple Final Fours with him. I've covered the NFL draft where Lamar Jackson was the 30th pick down in Dallas. That had like Josh Allen was in that draft. It was like 5 quarterbacks and Lamar was like the last one. We covered that draft together in Dallas. Like I said, the Final Fours, golf tournaments or whatever. So many amazing events that I have been able to be a part of in my career. And I had the man Mark Barber, the best video journalist that I've ever come across, standing by my side, man, making so much great work throughout my time and throughout my career. But the number one memory I have of Mark Barger, and I really hope, I'm going to go digging for this picture later. I really hope I can find it. We had just finished up a long day of coverage of the U.S. Open at Pinehurst. I want to say it was 2014, could have been 13. I believe it was 14. U.S. Open, Pinehurst or whatever. Rained all day. We still had to do our live shots. We still had to do our little show and all that or whatever. It was just a long, just messy, one of those days. But afterwards, we went to a restaurant or whatever just to kind of like debrief or whatever and just kind of come down from the highs and the lows of the day or whatever. And Mark ordered one of the biggest banana splits I have ever seen in my life. And when I tell you, I saw the biggest smile on this man's face out of all the time that I've been working with him over 13 years or whatever. I could not get over how big of a smile he had on his face when he had this banana split. And he had his 2 forks sitting right here, and he's like, take a picture of this, JP. And he sat here and had the biggest, he had the biggest smile on his face, man. And that's just the number one memory that jumps out to me from Mark Barger. Like I said, man, multiple Final Fours, man, so many great coverage that we have been able to do together or whatever. But that moment right there sticks out to me, man. He is just an awesome individual. He was awesome to work with. And I am so happy for him that he is finally hanging up his camera and calling it a Hall of Fame career. Mark Barger, I want to let you know, man, I love you, brother. I'm so happy for you. And congratulations on your retirement. And I know, Clark, you got something too, man, because we've done great work with him together as well, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you say Hall of Fame career, I mean first ballot. He was the best I ever was around. When we wanted something done right, you best believe Mark Barger was on the case, right? Kind, never was really short with anybody. Patient. I know that he was patient with me when I needed to go out and do some camera work. He's the one that showed me the ropes, right? He was the one, man. When we're organizing, we got a million things going on. Who can we rely on? It was Mark Barger. So, I mean, like big congratulations to him. Hall of Fame career, as you said. And the business is gonna miss him.
Yes, no question. And I want to bring up 2022, Clark, because that was pretty much all of our last hurrah. You know what I mean?
Yep.
North
I remember it
Carolina,
well.
we had a great run, and it pretty much kind of like the A team got broken up or whatever after that. But in 2022, when Duke and North Carolina met in the Final Four, Barger was our chief photographer for that coverage, and that was one of the biggest events that I think both you and I have ever been a part of.
Nope.
And Mark Barger was our chief photographer. He was our leader. He was guiding us through it all, making us look good, making our shows look good, man. And, that 2022 Final Four, that entire NCAA tournament run or whatever, man, it was absolutely phenomenal. But for it to be topped off with me, you, Toper, Solarte, Barger, Mo. I mean, we had an awesome team out there, and it is definitely, I want to let you know, man, because of you, because of Barger, because of everyone else involved, man, like it was one of the greatest moments of my career being a part of that coverage that we did, man. And I just want to shout out Barger for that. I want to shout out you and everybody else, man. It was just great times, great memories that I'm going to take to my grave for sure, man. So appreciate you, brother, and appreciate Mark as well.
Yeah, congratulations, Mark.
Yes, sir.
Happy retirement.
Yes, sir. Happy retirement to the one and only Mark Barger. And we're going to go ahead and retire this episode of the Rick's Review Podcast. I told you we were going to have some fun talking about that fantasy football, getting you ready for the NFC North shakeup going on this week. And, of course, thank you, super producer, for being my sports psychiatrist and talking me through one of the most painful sports experiences of this year for me. You talked me through it, you talked me off a ledge, and now I'm going to be ready to go for next year. So thank you for that as well, man.
Yeah, man. Happy to help.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, the super producer Clark Gerber. This is my partner in crime right here, man. Whenever we got to fire up this podcast and talk our stuff, that's exactly what we're gonna do. I appreciate you so much, Clark, for joining me on this podcast. Thank you all for tuning in, and checking out this week's episode of the Rick's Review Podcast. Of course, make sure you find us on our YouTube page for Food Folks Fun. Of course, I'll have this podcast. All my podcasts are posted on my Rick's Review Facebook page, and we're going to keep this content rolling, man, because you know what? We're free, baby. We can do whatever we want with this right here, man, and have all the fun we want, man. So shout out to you, Clark. Shout out to everybody behind the scenes. My man Cam Smith holding it down on the ones and twos or whatever, and everybody for tuning in. We will be back again very soon for your next episode of the Rick's Review Podcast. Until then, two fingers, peace.